Hi guys, welcome to the final episode of DC Talks. I'm Evan Kahn.
Rylan Clarkson, and we're done. We made 6 episodes?
5 or 6,
I believe we made 5 full-length regular interview episodes, and then our first episode I think counts as episode 1.
Yeah.
And this will be technically episode 7, our final episode of this season of TC Talks for the 2022-2023 school year.
Yeah, it's been a joyride. There's been some ups, there's been some complications,
Some downs for sure.
But we made it work, and we're all really glad you guys tuned in, gave us the uplifting compliments and the kind of motivation.
For sure. I know our first 2 or 3 episodes did extremely well, hundreds of views.
Yeah,
and that was just really motivating to want to put more out.
Yeah,
and it's people check this out and they say, "Oh, this is really cool." We gain more of a base of people who watch the video immediately as it comes out.
Yeah.
Originally, we had some issues with the videos being visible to our audience, meaning that the YouTube algorithm would not push them at all. So we had Mrs. Fote email them out to teachers originally, and then I think students get them now too.
Yeah.
I believe.
Because I know for sure I would tell buddies of ours, hey, we just put out a new episode, we have an Instagram that will be handed down to the next generation of TC talkers. And just getting out in the community, because I know once I told
it was just kind of hard.
Yeah, because I had to verbally tell my parents and show them hey, this is how you get to it, and I know once I showed my parents that, they watched all the episodes back to back.
Yeah, and the thing is sometimes you couldn't even search for it, you type in whatever and it would not show our channel, whatever, and I think that's just because we were a new channel at the time, still are. But now we have 30-something subscribers, a lot of views. So now if you go onto YouTube and search TC Talks, it should come up.
Yeah.
But and something I wasn't able to do this season because of our relatively low view count and stuff was I wasn't able to post links in our bio, because I wanted to put our link tree in the bio, so the link to our Instagram, our YouTube channel, and I think one other thing I can't remember, or our email, in a way to form to contact us.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't able to link that in our description because of just that YouTube limitation.
But with the end of this, there's always a new beginning for something new and better and more. Not that we weren't organized, but
it was
a more solid grounding.
This was really the test run for the podcast. Now last year, Jaden Reynolds did a version of this that was a lot more
janky.
Yeah, it was recorded just on an iPad, and he did a really good job at it, but
wonderful job.
It just wasn't there yet. We were still working out some kinks, figuring out a format and stuff. This year, I believe, is the first full test run of the podcast where we have social medias, we have we have advertisements.
Right, we have a space to work in.
We have space to work in. We have equipment. Equipment. We have and some extra skills that we've learned along the way to make a better experience. If you've watched our first episode that we did with Kathy and Stuart, you'll notice that it's probably feels a little more stiff. Feels very question based and more of a conversation. But if you go back and watch our last episode, Mr. Meadows, you can notice that that's I think almost 30 minutes long
of just pure raw conversation,
and we're just talking. And a lot of the early episodes, I had to cut things out because stuff just didn't flow right, so I had to cut out sections so it flowed cohesively. But with this last one, Mr. Meadows, I think I had to cut one section because we were moving to a different focus. Is what it was. We were just trying to correct ourselves. But now that it's proven. Now that we've proved that we can do this, it flows a lot better.
Yeah.
And next year, it should be this and better.
Yeah. So bouncing off kind of what you said with the Meadows episode, even with Thacker, it was a very smooth and elegant feel to it, because we all know things about what we were talking about.
Yep.
Like, we all know things about band. We're both in band, you know, talking to two band directors, one that's been doing this for 20 years and one that went to school for it. It's his first year, but he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, it flows when you know what you're talking about, even if you don't know the person.
Yeah.
Like when we had our two art students, Lily and Mateo, on here, I know them and they know me, but not, you know, on a personal level like Evan does. Like,
Right.
They're really good friends. But I was still able to feel like I understood what they were talking about, and I felt like I could, you know, contribute to the conversation, even if I wasn't, you know, not an art student or, you know, best friends with our interviewers.
Right. And like I took an art class, and you know, I got really close with Mateo. I'm really close with Lily. So for me to talk to them like this was like super natural, which I feel is good.
Mm-hmm.
And even for you, some of the people that like with Lily and Mateo, you may not like know them, but you know them enough because like we're in the choir with Lily and like Matea's just.
I had Matea in my sophomore math class,
Yeah.
and so I know her from that and around the school.
Yeah.
You know, I exposed to both of their art, you know, when it's showcased and stuff. So, you know, it's just a matter of like being a people person, kind of, you know, and you know, moving on to our next little topic here is we need a team.
Yes.
To do this for sure. Me and Evan. Every single one of these episodes was just me and Evan.
Yep.
That's it. No one else. Mrs. Vogt helped push the content, and she did add a little course module in Canvas to help us with some of our discussion and question writing.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was 100% produced by me and Evan.
Right. We did all the field work, and I'm not saying like Mrs. Vogt didn't do anything. No, she helped us greatly.
She helped as much as she could.
Right, with like background, with like writing questions, you know, ideas on how to like produce an episode and like what needs to go out and how to like talk through it. But yeah,
and she helped provide a lot of the equipment that you see, all of our tripods and stands, 2 of the microphones. Helped provide as much as she could from the library budget and all that. But she's a very busy lady.
Yeah,
so we're very fortunate for her.
Yes.
But this is a thing that needs a team,
right?
Whether that be a class or a
group,
a group or a club.
Yeah,
like kind of like yearbook.
Yeah.
Last yearbook, it was literally just like Garwood and Whitney for the most part. There were a couple photographers, but like, and they had to grind the yearbook out to get it out before this school year. And now the yearbook is a class with 2 periods, and you guys are just smooth sailing.
For the
most part, well,
we got some things that need some like, we need to get this done like right now. But like,
I feel like a lot of that's life touch,
dude,
and they're
for real,
and their kind of way of doing things. But it's a lot smoother, than it was this year, and it'll show too with certain people working on one page, one spread. You can tell there's a lot more care and effort put into it, not because they didn't care last year, but just because they did not have time.
Right. They didn't have the people, the time, and especially this year. There are 2 periods for a year like this year. There's the first period, which I was in originally, and there was only like a few people in there, but then I switched to a 5th period.
A bunch of people.
There's like almost double. In that 5th period, which, and a lot of them, and like they're like the popular kids, but like they know a lot of people, and it really helps. It really does.
Yeah, and like that I liken to this. We need something like that. Yes. We need a team of writers. We need a team of editors. We need a team of videographers. We need some interviewers. And I want this to be like everyone just has their own job. Me, I am an interviewer. I am co-writer with Evan. I do all the cinematography. I do all the video editing. Evan, he does all of the personnel coordination. He writes all the emails. He does all the scheduling. He does all that, and it's just a lot of work for both of us.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for just 2 people. This is like I don't want to say like huge group, but like maybe like 5 to 6 people just
like
coordinating
a small
things.
class size, and like there's stuff where like I'm asking Evan, so like what day are we recording? Because he knows all that stuff, and I don't because I'm not talking to the people. So it's like we're doing this, and I'm like, okay, get all the stuff ready, and then stuff like. There's a couple times where I wish there was someone behind the camera to help adjust things while we were, just talking instead of having, camera died. Instead of having that happen, we could do a quick cut and someone change out the batteries while we're just sitting here, you know, and
Right.
it's not really feasible with just the two of us.
Right. And with the Meadows episode, we ran really long with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So the what's it called? The SIM card.
The SD card.
Yeah, the SD card.
It wasn't even the SD card. It was the camera. It has like a hard limit for just 29 minutes. Will not record anything.
Yeah, 29 minutes exactly.
Yeah, which sure, all right. But you know, and that's something we only learned with our last episode was because we never went that long before.
Right.
It just started flowing more and more. We just kept talking and talking.
Right.
And the camera turned off. So you'll see there's a blank placeholder text in the video.
Yeah.
Now. But that's why we, you know, didn't really have time to learn all the intricacies of our equipment because we just needed to go and record.
And there was a wait period, very valid wait period, with Mrs. Folk and Garwood not being here. But, you know, so we kind of had to wait and to get stuff all set up.
Yeah.
But once we did, we had, okay, you have this amount of time. Get as much done as you want.
Yeah. And honestly, that really worked. I feel like it really worked because it gave us the creative freedom to like, okay, we need an extra week on this.
Mm-hmm.
We could have it. You know, there's not really a set deadline. We wanted to have a video out at least every other week, and we did that for the most part.
Yeah.
This last episode took 3 weeks because scheduling with Meadows, there was 3 hours worth of video editing I had to perform.
And our schedules personally.
Yeah, and our personal schedules, like, you know, I work, you know, other band things.
Work, band,
school,
choir,
in general.
school events, you know.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a lot of work for just 2 people to do. So I hope that this becomes a bigger group next year to at least meet the quality.
Yeah.
But I hope it exceeds the quality of these.
Especially for 2 seniors doing this.
Yeah.
You know, the first half of the year is kind of like, okay, it's normal. And then once you get into like end of third quarter, beginning of fourth, it gets really busy with extra stuff.
Yeah, because, you know, we're, you know, constantly, you know, senior checklist, like fees paid, parking tags turned in, got to make sure.
Even just Spring Fest,
yeah.
And our last day's tomorrow.
Yeah, and, you know, and also like sports are wrapping up. They have their banquets and stuff. So it's just a lot to do with, you know, senior year coming to an end. And also, like, as a senior, we didn't know anything about this. We totally changed the format that Jaden had. Yeah. So, like,
we had to start anew.
Yeah. And it really was just like, we're just going to roll with it. Jaden was it was just him on the podcast, just him talking, no interviewers.
I cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
I really can't.
And, well, like, my idea for the podcast was, I wanted a 2-camera setup so we could have this camera facing us and then a camera.
Yeah.
I had never edited that way before. I had never edited 2 camera streams on one thing before. So it was a learning experience for me. I mean, you've probably not had to coordinate with so many people before.
No.
And push socials and all that.
Especially with the people coordinating, you got to work around their schedules because a lot of these teachers are also like in a teacher union. Like, yeah,
and, you know, they have really busy schedules as teachers, and like sometimes the only time we could get was one day after school for half an hour.
Right.
And that was like, our videos aren't half an hour, but it takes time to set up and take down. So we're really pushing that deadline. Yeah.
And like some of the teachers are coaches, like Meadows is also the shot put, and Disc is coach. So like there was a days where I don't have to be there until this time, and we had a little bit extra time, but still there's the setup.
You know, Mr. Ridge, he's the head of like one of the teacher groups or whatever here, so he had to leave at a certain time. You know, and then
they got kids. You know,
they've got families too. So yeah, but I think, you know, coming into our final little bit here, I think that the story that we wanted to tell was expose the arts of Columbian, both the visual art and the music art. We wanted to kind of expose that to the masses, to people coming up to the school, to people, you know, in Columbian, moving to Columbian. Wanted to show that it's a very warm and inviting environment.
It's not a stereotypical like high school movie where it's like, oh, you're in band, oh,
you're such a nerd,
right? No, like we're real musicians who do this for the benefit of us.
Yeah, and like, you know, we do it because, first of all, we want to do it. It's fun, but second of all, we're showing, you know, spirit and support for our school.
We're showing school camaraderie.
And it's a really good thing to get involved in, no matter what kind of art program.
Right. But and this even helps, like, say like you're a freshman watching and like you see this and it's like, oh, I did not know that about art, so maybe I'll take an art class or I'll join band, you know?
Yeah.
Because you can
do all three.
Yeah, you can join band at any time. There's no like you have to do it in middle school and be a 7-year veteran.
Yeah, and you don't need to know an instrument to join band either. That's what band is for, is to learn.
Right.
And
I don't know like notes for
Yeah,
sure. Like,
and, like-
I know like if I see it, I can know what finger it is.
Yeah,
But
and-
I cannot tell you what note it is.
yeah, and see, like, you know, it's not terribly like, you know, pressure situation. There's a place for you, no matter what. If you're not great at art, obviously you're not going to be an advanced art, but there's an art class for you.
Right.
You know, if you are still learning your instrument, there's a band for you. You're not going to be, you know, in the top group, but you're still going to be in a group that does perform.
Right.
And
yeah.
goes to competition and all that. And then
And
you'll
gets a
still
rating.
be in the marching band as a
Right.
collective. You can still have the opportunity to be in pep band, still have the opportunity to be in jazz band.
All really good opportunities.
The musical, never acted a day in your life, great opportunity to start now. You know, the directing staff with, you know, Mr. Steyer, really, really awesome. You know, the Ridges, they both do theater.
Yes.
Like, there's just so much to do here at Columbia. And I feel like that was the story that we hopefully told
and
through our episodes this year.
Right. But yeah, we tried to tell that story. I feel like we did a really good job of it. There was a few things that we didn't get to touch on, but
It's just time.
right.
Never have enough of it.
No, and it happens, but there's always next year. And
For sure.
if you're interested, talk to Mrs. Folk.
Yeah, if you
Please.
are interested in doing anything with
Talk
the
to us.
podcast,
Yeah.
I mean, even someone just to be a graphic designer.
That
if
was
you're
a
good
big
with-
thing,
If you're
too.
good with your graphic design, hit up Fo. If you're good with video editing, hit up Fo. If you know you're good with a camera, if you're good on camera, believe me and Evan have already kind of pushed to folk who we want to be interviewers, but that doesn't mean you still can't be
Right.
on the podcast.
Right. There's no set in stone anything.
Yeah, and we need writers. We need a team of people. So if you are interested, please, you know, stop by the library, email Mrs. Folk.
talk to
her.
Musgrave.
Yeah, talk to Musgrave or your counselor to talk to, you know, whoever.
Mhm.
So you can hopefully join this wonderful like thing we've started.
Experience.
Yeah.
This hopefully legacy
Mm-hmm.
thing we have started to 10 years from now when we come back for alumni night for band we hear about it.
Yeah, you know, it's still going on. So
But yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thanks for this great opportunity. I'm glad everyone enjoyed. I want to shout out to Alvarado. I love you, buddy,
yeah.
for that first comment, man.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. We
Love
appreciate it. So yeah,
Right.
this has been Ryland Clarkson
Evan Kahn
and TC Talks, and
we're the what's this one?
the podcast where we talk to TC and TC talks back.
There we go. None of this is edited. This is raw.
This is
So,
raw. I'm not editing it, so as I kick the table, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.